Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Season 3 of the eSports Racing League presented by RaceVoice and Alliance Autosport. It's Week 5, and after a very eventful outing in the Kettle Moraine last Tuesday night, we head back east to the place that Paul Newman called Heaven on Earth, Virginia International Raceway. This 17-turn, 3.27-mile track, akin to a country club for race cars, sits right on the Virginia-North Carolina border, and tonight it plays host to some of the best virtual racers I've had the pleasure of watching race. I'm Greg Ginsberg, and with Brian Donati still on vacation, Austin Knight will again be joining me in the announce booth. And of course, we have the hardest working man in showbiz, virtual racing, Apex Racing TV's Dennis Branch, who's in the virtual production trailer, bringing you all the great views from this beautiful venue. Tonight, we've got 2 great races on tap. First up, the Spec Racer Fords, presented by Alliance Autosport, and let's hope they all make it past turn 1 this week. And then we've got the Mazda MX-5s, and they'll take the track after sitting out last week at Road America. So, Austin, good to see we didn't scare you off last week. Welcome to VIR.
Well, it was more like y'all ran back and came to get me after the views we got last week, having one of the biggest Ray Esports broadcasts ever.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was the views bringing me back or, I wasn't scared. I love this series so much, and I love these guys a lot. I was actually racing with them around in VIR upcoming to this race, and everyone was very excited to come here. The drafting is amazing. You got that long back straight, and both of the cars here today are going to be so fun to watch. The MX-5 is a amazing race car as ever. It's probably the easiest arrive and drive car I've ever seen on iRacing, and everybody is so competitive in there. And then you got the SRF, which is actually faster than our second race. But, oh, man, this car, when it gets going, and it's going to be very fun to watch. Drafting and bump drafting is going to be a very big thing here in these cars, and both these races should bring out the best in all of our drivers here today. It is heaven on earth. I've driven here multiple times in my life. VIR.
Yeah, and it's funny when you posted up earlier tonight that you were going to join the group here for their practice because you wanted to learn the track a little bit. Of course, I had to post up photos of some of my trophies that I've won at VIR in club racing. I think we've both had a lot of experience actually here, and I know a few of the drivers on track racing with us tonight have as well, and it should be a great battle this evening. And of course, first up, we do have our Spec Racer Fords going to be led off by Caleb right now in qualifying, 15-minute qualifying session. Our lead driver, fastest driver on track currently is Caleb Patry with Wanshi Lin, who is only put in a couple of races with us this season, but has done incredibly well in the Spec Racer Fords. Then we've got Jamison Huffman in the number 89 machine, currently third fastest, and Stevie Ray as well. And as we go on here, let's do this real quick. We're going to take a quick look back at our Spec Racer Ford race from last week at Road America. And again, it was a very let's just say a very, I don't know how the best way to put this other than interesting race to start things off. As many of our drivers, they didn't want to get through turn one. We had our pole sitters, John Vogel, and also I believe, let's see, who was it? I'm sorry.
It was Caleb who started it.
Caleb.
They went three wide. Caleb was in the second row and got into the back of John, who got into the other Vogel, and then onto the outside. And I'm trying to.
It was actually it was Paul Slavonic who was on the outside of the front row, and we had four cars. Basically get knocked out of the race within just a few seconds of taking the green flag. Interestingly enough, Paul Slavonic, I think he's still trying to get repairs done on his car. He's not going to be joining us here tonight at VIR for this race, but we'll hopefully see him next time. But Caleb Patry, who admittedly might have started all of the action there on the front row. He ended up taking the win over Wanshi Lin, who had a great run through the field. I think he ended up making up 5 positions to finish in second place. Jordy Fike in the 09 machine took the last step on the podium. Edgar Sancinelli and Charles Vaccaro finishing just off the podium. And it was interesting because we were talking about Jordy Fike, who early on in the race seemed really hesitant, did not go and really pushed the issue, was braking early, was getting off the gas early, and found himself dropping all the way back, I think the 6th position, and found his way back up and took the last step on the podium. I mean, it was really quite amazing to see there. So as we go now and we take a look here at the standings after now 3 rounds for the Spec Racer Fords, Jamison Huffman, he's got 2 wins so far on the season. He is currently your points leader with 64 points, a considerable advantage over Jordy Fike, who is currently running second in the points with 47, Greg Mack with 43, Wanshi Lin, and again, he's started twice out of 3 rounds. He's had 2 second place finishes, but he's sitting 4th in the points right now with 42. Last week's winner, Caleb Patry, currently sitting back in 11th position. So we'll see what he can do to move up through the field, as I believe he is on track with us here tonight as well.
Yeah, drivers showing up to this track, it's VIR, so a lot of drivers here know a lot about this track better than some of them do. Road America kind of gets a reputation of being a bit crazy spots, but some drivers are here. Some drivers like Paul Slavonic not going to be here. They're fine for the Road America thing. It's just, I believe it's work. And speaking of work, Stevie Ray is here. as well. Ray quotes, "I for once had a day off, and well, a night off, so I'm going to be racing around with you guys."
And you know, since I think since the middle of the summer, he has been working night shifts, and so has not been able to join us. Of course, Stevie Ray, he is the Ray in Ray Esports Racing, so definitely happy to see him here with us as we still continue on with qualifying. We've just got a few minutes remaining here in qualifying as our drivers try to make their way through. Austin, if you can give a quick rundown of where we are currently with qualifying.
Well, qualifying is 12 minutes ago. We got Morgan Burkhard sitting up there at provisional pole of a 2-minute 5.61, followed by Caleb Patriot in third. Zach Burke, the Canadian, in third place, followed by Justin Huffman, Yonchi Lin, and Jamison Huffman in sixth place. Stevie Ray currently sitting in seventh place, followed by Edgar Sancinelli, who has been a bit wild on track recently.
Yes.
Hopefully he keeps it on track. Jordy Fike in ninth place, followed by Charles Vaccaro in 10th. Joaquin Effinger, they've been struggling with the car, but they've been learning setups and getting faster around here. I was helping them out in the practice session as well. You know, they look promising in the upcoming rounds, but they are not a fan of VIR. Murphy Nichols, John Casey, and Carl Burke in 14th. I do not believe they are related to Zach. And no. Hello, Morgan.
And I believe this is the first outing for Carl Burke here with us on the Ray Esports Racing League as well.
Yes, and then also not qualifying or putting in laps is Greg Mack and Bob Kirkra in 15th and 16th. And then Kusera, thank you. Ryan Carter is also out on track, but has not set a valid lap time to get a time onto the board yet. And as we were talking, Jamison Huffman jumped up into second, and then Caleb got it right back. So, you know, we got a little fight up there in the top 5 already.
All right, so just a few moments here left in qualifying, and again, as we do every single week on the Ray Esports Racing League, we have a 20-minute sprint to the checkered flag. But I wanted to talk very quickly here, since we've got the Spec Racer Fords on track, and the title sponsor for the Spec Racer Fords is Alliance Autosport, that they are going to be holding the first annual esports meet and greet Wednesday night, September 29th at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is when the SCCA, the Sports Car Club of America, goes to Indianapolis for their national championship runoffs. And Scott Reddick and the great folks from Alliance Autosport, they're going to be hosting the Ray Esports Racing League for a great evening. So you can certainly reach out to us if you're going to be in Indianapolis during the runoffs. You can reach out to us on the Ray Esports Discord server, and we'll feed you all of the information. It is bring your own beer, and of course for our drivers that are under 21, not under 18, that is a very important thing for them to remember. So Murphy, Jameson, and Morgan, you know, keep that in mind. But we've got here as things are going on. It should be a great time. When I was last at Indianapolis for the national championship runoffs, Scott Reddick and Alliance Autosport held a big party for Formula Enterprises and for Spec Racer Fords, and they had all of the Spec Racer Ford entrants there, which was pretty amazing because there were 99 entrants in Spec Racer Ford for the national championship that year. So as you can imagine, it got rather crowded and rather hectic at the Alliance pits. So definitely come on by here, as time has now expired in qualifying, and Morgan Burkhard in the number 40 All Sports Racing entry looks like he has set the fastest lap, and pretty close there up at the front is Caleb Patry, last week's winner, 1300ths, almost 1400ths of a second back. Jamison Huffman, our two-time winner. Again, Patry and Huffman, the only two winners so far this season in the Ray eSports League. Huffman will be starting in third with Zach Burke and Justin Huffman, that's Jamison's father, starting in row 3. And we'll run down that starting grid here in just a few moments as we take a look right now. Carl Burke, as you mentioned, Austin, I don't think related to Zach. I was going to say he's trying to make his way around.
Yeah, they got 2 different countries showing up. Carl's from Carolina, and Zach is showing the Canadian flag on their profile. And, Ryan Carter got in the lap.
There we go. So, yeah, looks like 15th. Got in a 2:21. Got that lap in just on...
Just being safe.
Exactly. So let's see here as we start to get everything ready. We're going to have our drivers grid up here in just a moment. And just a reminder to everybody, if you like what you see here tonight, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to Apex Racing TV's YouTube channel so you can see all the great virtual auto sports and motorsports from around the world, not just the Ray Esports Racing League, but seemingly 24/7 broadcast. And if you want to find out more, you can certainly subscribe to our social media channels, to Twitter, to the Instagram, and to Facebook. Just search one word, Apex Racing TV. All right, so looks like going to be another couple seconds here before we get cars gridded up and ready to go, Mr. Knight. But should be an exciting race again. As long as these drivers can make it down to turn 1, I think we're gonna have a great battle here in Spec Racer 4.
Turn 1's gonna be very tight too. It's about 2 to 3 cars if you're really pushing it here. But if you get a wheel off track heading into turn 1, you're going to go over that hump and you're going to go flying into those tire walls there. But yeah, if we look at turn 1 at just a pure fact standpoint, it's going to be a very tight run up. It's kind of going to be like Road America, but a much tighter. So everyone's going to have to be at the top of their game, especially if you're not in that front row.
That's right. As you go down into that horseshoe turns 1 and 2, it gets very greasy, especially on the outside lane, and not uncommon to have drivers that come up the inside maybe try to push you a little wide. And as Austin said, if you go into the grass over there, it's a long ride to get back out on track. So let's go. We'll run down the starting grid here for our first race of the night. Spec Racer 4 is presented by Alliance Autosport, and starting on pole this evening in the number 40 machine is Morgan Burkhard with Caleb Patry, last week's winner, in the number 198 entry. He will be starting second. On row number 2, Jamison Huffman, all 15 years of him, starting in third with Zach Burke. In the 13 machine, he will be starting in fourth. Justin Huffman, that's Jamison's father, he's going to be starting right back behind his son on the inside of row number 3 with Wan Chi Lin, last week's second place finisher, starting in 6th. Then we've got Murphy Nichols and Steve Ray making up row number 4 with Edgar Sanchinelli and Jordy Fike in row number 5. Then we've got Charles Vaccaro starting in 11th in the number 221 machine with Joaquin Effinger in the number 700. That will be row number 6. And then we move over to John Casey in the number 78 machine with Carl Burke starting right beside him. That's row number 7. And then we've got Ryan Carter, and we're going to have to see if Greg Mack made the grid. I believe he did in the number 2 machine. And so that will be row number 8. And finally, Bob Kucera, I don't see him on track. Yeah, it doesn't look like he made the track.
Might be stuck in his trailer. Somebody should probably go check on him.
And Bob with a lot of Spec Racer. He's actually a Spec Racer 4 driver in real life out of Texas. Unfortunately, not able to join us for this race tonight, unfortunately.
Well, he'll be at home for next round.
That's right. As we go to the Circuit of the Americas next week. You don't want to miss that, but looks like he's going to be taking the evening off, at least in Spec Racer 4s. Maybe he'll come out in the MX-5s, but he hasn't. I don't think he's raced with us in the MX-5s prior. So we've got the pace car now bringing the field down into South Bend as the drivers, you can see, trying to get some heat in the tires. The drivers up front doing a little bit of swerve in there, trying to get heat in. A little bit further back, I think the drivers that really know what's up, they're jabbing at the brakes, dragging the brakes, trying to get heat in the wheels, hence heat in the tires and in the brakes as the drivers come around what is now in real life called, many of the volunteers called Oak Treeless, as the iconic oak tree fell in a storm about, I guess we're running on about 8 years ago.
It was 8 years.
Now. Yeah, it's really changed the profile of that corner, but we still here on the iRacing platform represent the circuit as it was back when it reopened back in 2001. So the pace car now bringing the field up over Madison Avenue, and they'll start to roll down that roller coaster here in just a few moments. Again, a 20-minute lap, a 20-minute. see, we're going to be here a little bit longer than you expected tonight, Austin. It's going to be a 20-minute race to the checkered flag here. Again, Morgan Burkhard, your pole sitter, Caleb Patry sitting in that black and white number 198 machine on the outside of row number 1, and we'll have to see as we have just a few more corners left here on the pace lap. Looks like the tail end of the field straggling a little bit. You know, I'll tell you, in real life, I've never seen what I would consider to be a good start with a well-formed pack at VIR. Usually the field is pretty much coming right out of hog pin. Right here is pretty much on it, and the field gets all strung out. And you can see now as Burkhard trying to hold the field back as the pace car is on pit lane, and side by side, 2 by 2, nicely formed field. And we have a green flag as they make their way now down the fairly long front straight here. We've got that little bit of a bend right by the start finish line, and Burkhard, he's got the position going into turn 1. His teammate Jamison Huffman trying to follow him through as they go now under braking Patry with a late break going into turn 1. A little bit of connectivity. He might have had a little tap there going into the horseshoe, and Patry, he slots in ahead of Huffman to take over second. And now we've got Zach Burke. He gets around Jamison Huffman as well. Wanchi Lin trying to make up a position. He's now sitting in 5th. Yeah, and Edgar Sanchinelli, you said it a little bit earlier. He's been having some problems here in practice and qualifying. He's off track now. He's going to drop all the way back to the rear of the field. So Wanchi Lin, he moves up to 5th. Justin Huffman loses a position. He's back in 6th, about 3 car lengths off of Wanchi Lin. Murphy Nichols holds state in 7th position with Stevie Ray. Machine, the blue and white Alliance Autosport liveried number 11, back in 8th place with Vaccaro and Jordy Fike as our leaders come up through the S's for the first time here, Austin.
Yeah, great first lap by everybody. Extremely clean, besides Edgar Sanchinelli. And you know the struggling thing in this car is it still has cold brakes on early laps. So those pace laps, you really got to work those brakes and make sure that you're dragging them, have that brake magic on, and everything, you know, they can go wrong extremely fast. And that's, unfortunately, just probably wasn't used to the cold brakes right there. But also, these cars still a little bit finicky under braking. Yeah, and you just gotta just treat them nicely as the draft battles continue on down Madison Avenue and heading into that roller coaster. Wanchi Lin looking up the inside of Jamison Huffman up into 4th place and at the back of our 5-car leading pack.
All right, so Wanchi Lin, he finished 2nd at Laguna Seca. He finished last week at Road America. He's now moved up, moved up 2 positions since the start of this race here, and he is now up in 4th as we have Lin running a little bit wide coming out of hog pen, and he's going to lose that position he had just made over Jamison Huffman. So move Huffman now back into 4th position, and the number 45 machine, that's Carl Burke, he goes wide. Joaquin Effinger looks like he had issues at hog pen, goes into the wall as well. Let's take a look at the replay.
There's Ryan Carter behind Joaquin Effinger, heading into hog pen now. Hog pen, oh, okay, I see what's happened here. Oh no.
Oh, so
spin at the bottom of the hill, and it looks like Joaquin was in front of it. He got into the grass off the A's, and Bert, well, he took the he took the B route to avoid that.
That's right, exactly. Burke, he had a couple choices there, and one of them was to go right into the back of the machine that spun right in front of me here. As we go back into the battle, up at the front of the pack, we're on board right now with Wanchi Lin in the number 30 machine. Just ahead of him is Jamison Huffman, and you can see then about 2.5 car lengths up ahead, our top 3 drivers Morgan Burkhard, the number 198 of Patry, and then Zach Burke. And Burke not looking nearly as tentative and cautious as he was a week ago. Austin here, he's definitely doing everything he can to keep up with our leaders. Although right now, early on, as we're about a lap and a half into this race, you can see a little bit of a bump draft going on as Patry comes up right on the back, right on the gearbox of Morgan Burkhard.
Yeah, that's what you want to do in these cars. Bump draft and run it all the way to the last point. Get onto the brakes before the guy in front of you so you don't back end him and then push him off track, because nobody wants to be the cause of the wreck. And they continue on into roller coaster. That is a nice 5-car pack. They're pulling away from everybody else. Greg Mack and I
think that's Murphy Nichols with him. And we didn't see what kind of problems Murphy had, but you can see there's a little bit of damage on the right front there, and he's that is the battle right now for 12th. And Nichols, the last time we saw him on lap 1, he was sitting in 7th position, so he's definitely lost a little bit of ground here as we now take a look at the battle for the lead. And
that's Caleb.
Yeah,
that's Zach looking up the inside actually, as we are looking at the replay.
Yeah,
another
here we go.
3 wide. But that's got into the grass right there. What a reactionary save by, is that the
we had the 11 and I think the 223 car were right by him. We had Stevie Ray and Justin Huffman.
Yeah, that was
here
Justin who avoided.
Yeah, as we go back to live action now, and we saw 3 cars going down into turn 1. We had Burkhard, Patry, and Burke. And Burke, who had been running in 3rd place, he is your new leader. Move Morgan Burkhard back into 2nd. Caleb Patry in the 198 car. He was last week's winner. He is now in 3rd. And all that battling, that has allowed Jamison Huffman as well as Wan Chi Lin to get back into this battle. And so our 4th and 5th place drivers, they have now brought themselves right back into it. It is a 5-car battle for the lead as they get hard under braking going into turn 11, setting up for Oak Tree. And you can see that Burkhard ran a little bit wide there, missed the apex just a little bit. Yeah, we're going to have to see if Patry can make up get a good run, and Burkhard not giving him a lot of ground there on driver's right, but you can see he's still trying to stay a little bit to the center of the track. Look at the power of the draft there, though.
Here comes Caleb.
And Patry, he's going to try and get past both Burkhard and Burke under braking going in the 14 at the top of the roller coaster. He gets it done. Gets a little squirrely, though. Almost over brakes himself, but Burke cannot get by, and Burke's still trying though. But here's where things shift as they come into 16, and he's going to have to drop back as they then come through Hog Pen. Now, can Burke get a good run? Well, it looks like he did. I thought maybe as they came into 16 that he might have checked up a little bit, but he's still got a good exit as they come down side by side towards turn 1 at Austin.
Now he's going to be stuck on the outside heading into the braking zone. You see Burke braking extremely late, trying to hold around the outside, forces Caleb to stay all the way down low, gets onto the bump. They bump each other right there, and watch Burkhard. Burkhard's off in the grass trying to stay away from Burke right there. And Caleb now still leading this race. That fight for second is very coveted as they head into one of the slowest corners on track. I think the slowest corner on track, hard onto the brakes, almost getting into first gear, which is so rare in these cars outside the start.
That's right.
Big wiggle for Burkhard right there. And that double right-hander before he headed to the S is then heading under that famous bridge.
Yeah, I'm wondering, Burkhard apparently, his parents just bought him a new computer. I'm wondering if things are moving a little bit too fast for him over there. For a moment there, it looked like he forgot to look to see where the side of the track was as they were coming out of 2 going into 3. But they now come up and they're heading through South Bend and still incredibly close here. But you can see that Zach Burke, he's really pushing the pace right now with Caleb Patry as they come through Oak Tree once again. And that time, Burkhard looked much, much cleaner coming through there. And you've got still Jamison Huffman and Wan Chi Lin tacked right onto the back of our top 3 as they come down the back straight over Madison Avenue. And here comes Zach Burke trying to make that same pass that Patry made a lap ago. And he's going to be able to draft by. Let's see if Burkhard can do it too.
We almost saw 3 wide go for 1 position, and that usually doesn't end well, but Burke and Patry. Burke took that very nicely, and,
And the thing about it, I guess discretion being the better part of valor there is Morgan Burkhard decided to get back in line behind Patry rather than forcing the issue.
You want to stay with who's winning. You really want to stay with who's winning. If they get side by side, you stay with who you know is going to be faster. So you can kind of just slither your way up into the lead. You see what Burkhardt's doing. He's pushing Caleb, bump tracking him to the outside, and trying to sneak himself into that second spot by doing nothing, hoping for one of them to make a mistake. And there's a big bump, and Burk got bumped, and it totally backfired on him as they made contact nose to tail after a big wiggle.
Looks like back behind we had Stevie Ray go off coming through turn 1. He was right near, I believe he had Edgar Sancinelli right by him, or maybe it was Justin Huffman, but let's take a look at the replay there as they came down under braking, and it was the 223 machine that was right behind.
This is on Stevie.
Yeah.
Brake rotation. Just, you know.
Yeah, just got out of the throttle, didn't get back into it, and the rear end goes around. And going off track right now, that is Ryan Carter in the 17. He's sitting back in 13th position. Let's try and jump back up to the lead here as Caleb Patry did manage to get by Zach Burke. Burkhard is still sitting in 3rd as they come through turn 11 into Oak Tree. And,
watch the exits right here. We might see Huffman get a great slingshot from being that far back near the end of the straight. But here comes Burke off that exit. Watch what Burkhardt's going to do. He's going to go up to the inside and give Burke just a little bit extra push. That was a very aggressive push.
Very aggressive and very late.
But now, look at that. Burkhard has pushed himself up into second place, but here comes Caleb setting it up the inside to take that second spot. Caleb's been struggling with the brakes right here. Does not go wide. Keeps Burkhard from trying just to get himself into second place with a very sly bump draft right there. But, you know, Burkhardt's playing favorites right here.
He certainly is, and you saw how late on the brakes Caleb Patry was and how that car was dancing around under braking going into 14. Now, we'll have to see here as they come down the front straight, head down towards turn 1, what Burkhard decides to do.
Because on the inside.
Yeah, because the last time he picked Patry, but the thing is, 2 laps in a row, both Burke and Patry have gotten together coming out of turn number 2, and this time I don't think it's going to happen, but Burkhard is, he's definitely looking for a way through. Unfortunately, he's always in position at the wrong place, but also now, and you saw Jamison Huffman as they came down the front straight, he's starting to get a little racy. Now, you said last lap that coming out of Oak Tree, you thought he was going to get a good slingshot. I think he was a little bit too far back at the time, but if he can stick on the back of Burkhard, he should be in good shape this time by.
Yeah, Huffman and Burkhard, the teammates, I feel like they're having a little bit of teammate work right now. Heading into the brakes, it looked like Burkhard was very, very loose on the brakes, or it was... yeah, it was Burkhard. I was just watching the stream replay, and oh, look at this! Watch lid getting it crazy up on one of the fastest corners, the tightest corners on the track.
Tried to sneak underneath Huffman going into South Bend. Yeah, one of the fastest corners, and it's a corner where the car is so loaded up. To try and sneak underneath there, and more importantly, to see that he wasn't going to make it and actually be able to back out of it in the middle of the corner without having the rear end step around on him. Absolutely amazing. Yeah,
that is impressive. We got a bump draft fest. Here comes Burkhard, not joining the fest. He's going to swing onto the outside, not get 1. He's going to get 2. He's going to get lead. Is Burke going to try to find him onto the inside? Burke's going to set it up to the brakes. Burke's going to get the lead back, but Burkhard is up into the second place now. Patry falls down into 3rd. So yeah,
there we go, and as they make their way now down through Hog Pen, yeah, for a moment there as Burkhard was making the run, and he looked like he had a very good run on both Burke and on Patry, you know, but I think what we're finding here is you need to have maybe a half a car length to 3/4 of a car length of clearance in order to be able to get over for braking. Otherwise, that inside line going into 14 is going to have it. As Burkhard, oh no, they all going to get together as Burkhard tries to get the car under control coming through turn 2 and finally gets it done. And both Burke and Patry got bottled up behind. And you'll notice here, Wanchi Lin, he did get by Jamison Huffman, and it looks like he's now going to try and take a shot at Caleb Patry. Not quite close enough as they come through left hook. As you mentioned, the slowest corner on the course here, and lost a little bit of ground in that exchange. We'll see if he can pick it up in the draft, but I think Wan Chi Lin definitely sitting back in fourth right now. Certainly not the raciest as given what we've just seen in the last half a lap, but certainly one to watch here as Morgan Burkhard, our pole sitter, back in the lead. Zach Burke running in second, Caleb Patry running back in third, as we have just about 6 minutes remaining in this 20-minute sprint race as they make their way down through that compression, back up into turn 11 and setting up. And let's see if Burkhard, he can hit the apex, if he can carry speed through the corner. He does.
Oh, and I noticed something. Zach Burke has rear end damage.
Yes, he does.
His bodywork's going to be creating a little bit more drag. It's going to hurt him on these straights, and so you see him getting onto the back of Burkhard, looking onto that outside, but he's not slingshotting past it as Burkhard did.
No.
And here comes Caleb, but Caleb's not bumping Burkhard into the lead. He's going to have to fight for this side-by-side, heading into roller coaster, turning braking zone, and it's Zach Burke into the lead, a bit sideways too, but hey, that's how you got to do it sometimes. Burke into the lead. Wan Chi Lin and Huffman side by side. Wan Chi Lin defending from Huffman, able to keep it in fourth place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 car pack around Hogpin, up the hill, and in front of, well, I call it the barn doors pit garage, but across the line they go. Another lap in the books, lap 8. And we got about 5 minutes to go.
Here we go, as we're now 3 wide as they come down into turn 1. We've got Burkhard to the inside. We've got Burke to the center. Got Patry to the outside. And going around, Burkhard loses the rear end of the car. Zach Burke goes wide. Jamison Huffman goes around as well, but it looks like he has managed to recover. Caleb Patry, for the second week in a row, has all this mayhem around him. He sneaks into the lead. Let's take a look at the replay here.
Patry is on the outside. Everyone is spinning. They're going to continue going onto the inside the way these cars rotate. So you can see him. He actually does the switchback. It was the 13 of Zach Burke who just lost it, got into the back of the 89, and Caleb Patry pulled off a switchback while 3 wide heading into the braking zone to dodge all that and get a 6-second lead. Caleb Patry, I don't know if he sees into the future or what, but man, he saw that one coming from a mile away and somehow avoided it.
Yeah, somehow managed to miss it there. Jamison Huffman, who actually had dropped wheels on the outside of one before Burkhard and Burke had gone around. I can't say that 20 times real fast.
Oh no!
And Justin Huffman goes around coming through Oak Tree. He had managed to get himself up into 5th. He's now going to drop all the way back in the 7th position as he gets that car back underway. That's going to move Wan Chi Lin back up in the 5th position, and now 2 wide. This is the battle for second, coming down into the top of the roller coaster towards turn 14. We've got the 2 teammates from Autosport Racing. We've got Jamison Huffman and Morgan Burkhard. They were nose to tail. Zach Burke slots back in right between them. But as this battling goes on, Caleb Patry now opens up a 6.5 second advantage over the rest of the field. Remember, this is more or less what he did a week ago at Road America. A little bit different there. Some would argue that Caleb Patry may have started the mayhem that led to the big schmozzle going into turn 1 at Road America. He was not involved with this, but he is definitely the beneficiary, as we now have Huffman and Burke going side by side into turn 1 with Morgan Burkhart bottled up behind him.
Yeah, Burke and really unfortunate right there, sitting behind his teammate. As well, actually no, that's Zach Burke leading. I'm getting everyone confused. I'm thinking of Burkhard and Burke, and you know, you can't say it 25. You can't say it 20 times fast. I can say it 20 times fast, but I will be confused on who I'm talking about.
I was going to say we might have to split it up 10 and 10 here as they come out of as they come through turn 5 and into Snake, and you can see that our leader Patry's starting to make his way through some back marker traffic here. So you know, a couple laps ago we were looking at the 13 of Burke and how he had some damage at the rear of the car. Well, now Burke,
front too.
now almost all of them have some body damage. I think in that group of 3 that Jamison Huffman actually has the clean body, so he might be in a little bit better shape.
Is that Wanshi Lin sneaking
Yes,
up
it is.
behind that nobody
Yes, it
even
is.
talked about? It is, and guess who has the cleanest car?
Oh,
And
well,
he's
and
just
there
spun
he
it.
goes.
And guess who? I just commented, it's cursed.
Yeah, there you go. Wanshi Lin, who finished second at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, and last week at Road America, he made his way back up into 5th, but goes around at Oak Tree, and he's going to drop back a number of positions now, drops back into 6th as we continue to watch this battle now this is the battle for second, and we've got Huffman, we've got Burke, we've got Burkhardt. They're both coming up on machine right ahead of them, and that was I believe the 45 machine.
Yeah, that's Carl Burke.
Yeah, that drove right off. Rather than getting in the middle of that, he decided to go sliding down the hill, sliding down the roller coaster there through the grass. But that allows the battle for second to continue on here as Morgan Burkhard now steps to the inside. And again, as far as aero goes, I think Zach Burke has probably the most compromised car.
Oh my goodness, Zach using some off-road tactics, gets into the back of Huffman. Huffman got a little bit loose, trying to hold it around to the outside, dips the wheel off into the grass, and look at Morgan Burkhard getting back into the back of Burke, and Burkhard and Burke going nose to tail right now, taking advantage of his teammate. I feel like we're about to see a little bit of grudge fight because, hey, guess what? 1 lap to go, heading into left hook. Burkhard getting a little bit loose on the back of Burke once more. Is there nose to tail once again as Jameson Huffman just probably can't believe that Zach really tried that, dipping all 4 wheels off into the grass to get a run all the way to the inside and taking out a cone into process into turn 1, and he's made it work.
Yeah, he went right at the, there's that little pitch, that little bend on the front straight, and you saw where Burke went in the grass. Typically, less traction when you're 4 wheels in the grass, but somehow he made it work, and I don't think Jameson Huffman was ready for it as they come now into turn 11 for the very last time. Again, we are working the very last lap. We've gone over that 20-minute limit. Caleb Patry now, you can see him starting to make his way. Yeah, he's
enjoying the show. He's enjoying the drive in the hills. We're going to enjoy this fight, but nobody has a good enough draft to get ahead of Zach Burke, who created a pretty good gap. Here it comes Burkhard, swinging up onto the inside, heading into the roller coaster. Oh, that is a beautiful run up on him. He's already cleared up by a car, but here comes Zach. He's been aggressive on the brakes, and they're all tightening up right there. Nose to tail to nose to tail to nose to tail. 3 wide they go. Well, 3 long they. Caleb Patrick comes out through Hogpin, up through the DRS sign, up to the line to take 2 SRF victories in a row, but the fight for second, it's Burkhard and Burke. Huffman had a little bit too much mustard. He's off in Hogpin. Stevie Ray jumps up into 4th. It's going to be side by side at the line, but it's going to be Burkhard in front of Burke, with Stevie Ray coming home in 4th place.
All right, let's go take a look here. Yep, let's jump back now to this replay here as they start to make their way down the roller coaster, and we'll see what happened to Jameson Huffman, because we see that he dropped the position. Yeah, coming across, popping over the curb at turn 16, and he goes for the long ride through the grass. That is going to move Stevie Ray in the number 11 machine now up into 4th. Wanshi Lin will manage to come back and finish 5th. Justin Huffman will finish 6th. Jameson Huffman finishing just behind his father in 7th. Jordy Fike finishing 8th. Charles Vaccaro 9th. Edward Sancinelli rounds out the field. He will finish in 10th. All right, so Austin, it looks like we've got now Morgan Burkhard, who finished 2nd tonight. He is sitting in the green room. Let's bring the driver of the number 40 machine in.
Yeah, we are standing by with Morgan. Morgan, what a fantastic race you had, and it got a little bit crazy heading into there to turn 1. It looked like that was the the place where some of the biggest moves were made, and this time everybody made it through lap 1 safely, but it was actually about lap 8 or 9 where it all went crazy, and then in the final lap, that back straight really helped you out there right there, and to take the lead ahead of Zach and into 2nd place.
Yeah, it was a tough race. It was just going to be one of those survive races. VIR and mid-engine cars don't mix too well together with stability. And yeah, I just cooked it a little bit too much into T1 and ended up locking up the brakes and washing out. So that one's on me. But other than that, it was a really fun race. It's always great racing with Zach and Caleb and all them.
It certainly looked like a lot of fun. You're giving us a great show up here. You and Zach were racing each other cleanly, having a good race. It looked like you all were getting a little bit frustrated with each other at a few times, but after that, that back end draft up that long back straight heading into roller coaster was giving us such a good show that we didn't want it to stop. But hey, timer hits timer, and you got to race towards the flag.
Yep. This there's really only 2 passing zones on this track, and one of them's turn 1, and the other one's going into the roller coaster. So you just got to play it right so that you can maximize your opportunities.
Well, Morgan, the MX-5s are coming up next. The front engine, so we won't have any of that stability issues. Are you looking forward to next round?
Oh yeah. I love VIR and I love the MX-5. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun.
All right, we can't wait to see you there, and we're going to let you, before we let you go, get ready for next round. Anyone you want to thank?
I'd definitely like to thank Major's Garage for setups. I'd like to thank my parents because recently I have upgraded from an Apple Mac. I've gotten an actual computer now, so I can see stuff, which is really nice. So I thank my parents for that.
All right, well, I'm certainly they're enjoying your happiness with that, and they're going to be thankful and that you are putting it to good work. And congrats, man. And we'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. That was Morgan Burkhard, driver of the number 40 machine, finishing second tonight. And before we bring in our winner, let's bring in Stevie Ray, the Ray in Ray eSports Racing.
Steve, how was that race? Surprise 4th finish on a round that you were just you were showing up today recently because you had the night off.
Yeah, I don't get a chance often, so I wanted to go ahead and jump in tonight and have some fun with the guys and have a chance to thank everybody who participates in the league. It's a lot of fun, and those guys every week make it up.
Yeah, everybody racing here is very happy that you put it on, and it just brings a lot of happiness, more racing for everybody outside of when we can't go. But yeah, P4, MX-5's coming up. Before I let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Oh, got to thank Alliance for coming on board and sponsoring the group this week or this season. He's been awesome and going to even host an esports meet and greet at the Runhouse for us. So got to really thank those guys, and you guys do a great broadcast as well. So big cheers to you. And like I said, everybody in the league. It wouldn't be anything without the guys on track every week.
It certainly will. Thank you, Stevie. You have yourself a little bit of a rest, and we'll see you very soon in the MX-5s.
All right. Take care, guys.
All right, there you go. Stevie Ray, driver of the number 11 machine. Let's bring in our winner, Caleb Patry.
Caleb, 2 weeks in a row, you take first place by a comfortable margin, but this time, fortunately, you avoided the wreck.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy there going into one. I know I had a run. I just popped to the outside, and then under braking, I could hear my spotter yell 3 wide. So I knew I had to back out of it, and so I did, took it easy, and then cut underneath. And next thing I know, I just see everybody spinning in my mirror.
Yeah, I don't know how you predicted that was going to happen. Usually, when I know that I'm 3 wide on the brakes, I just go wide. But you just assumed that everybody else was just going to blow past that corner, and you pulled probably the greatest switchback I have ever seen to avoid a wreck and take the win.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's an amazing win for you. And, hey, 2 in a row before we let you go to get ready for the MX-5s very soon. Anyone who wants to thank?
Sure, I'd like to thank Stevie Ray for setting all this stuff up, and Alliance Autosport for their sponsorship of the series.
All right, pretty sure they're all happy about you. And, hey, good luck in the MX-5s.
Well, thank you.
All right, there you go. That was Caleb Patry, winner 2 weeks in a row in Spec Racer Ford here on the Ray Esports Racing League. And so with that, Austin, let's take a quick little break. We're going to set up for that MX-5 race. And when we come back, another 20-minute run to the checkered flag. We can only hope it's going to be as exciting as the race we just saw. You are watching live From Virginia International Raceway, the Ray Esports Racing League presented by RaceVoice and Alliance Autosport, and we'll be right back.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Have our drivers, they're already out on track for our MX5 drivers, are already on track for qualifying. Let's quickly take a look back to last week at Road America, where we did have round number 2, or probably round number 3 for our Formula Vs. They are off this week. They'll rejoin us next week at Circuit of the Americas, taking the win last week. And I'll tell you, this was a very exciting race as well. Taking the win, Jamison Huffman, Caleb Patry, who we just saw take the win in Spec Racer Ford. He finished second. Mike Taylor finished in third, with Jordy Fike and Greg Mack rounding out the top 5. And if we take a look at the point standings now, after 3 rounds, Jamison Huffman with 1 win. He has 71 points. Morgan Burkhard also with a win. He is sitting second, but he is, I believe, 16 points back with 54 points. I can't do simple math in my head, but that sounds about right. Greg Mack and Edgar Sancinelli currently tied for third with 48, with Mike Taylor sitting back in 5th. And so if we take a look at the MX-5s, and we are now 12 minutes into this 15-minute qualifying session here, let's quickly take a look at how we finished up for round 2 of the MX-5s, and this was back at Barber 2 weeks ago. Tom Pendergrass with a great race. He had gotten together, I believe, with Jordy Fike with a couple, and there's Jordy Fike on track right now. They had gotten together over at turn 15 about halfway through the race. Fike fell off track, had to work his way back through the field, but Pendergrass, he managed to hold on and hold off Morgan Burkhard for the win. Jamison Huffman finished in 3rd. Murphy Nichols, Burkhard's and Huffman's teammate, finished in 4th, with Charles Bailey finishing in 5th. And if we take a look at the current point standings as we're going into round number 3 tonight for the Mazda MX-5s, Morgan Burkhard, with no wins in his name right now, he is your points leader with 42 points. Tom Pendergrass, with that win at Barber, sitting second, 3 points back with 38. Then we've got Darian Taggart sitting in 3rd right now with 31 points. Reed Shannabrook, who took the win in round 1, he is 4th with 28. We'll have to see if Shannabrook is here tonight. He was not at Barber. And then Jordy Fike currently sitting back in 5th position with 26 points. So let's go. We'll take a look at where we stand in qualifying right now. And if we take a look at the order here, thank you for throwing up our timing pylon there. Murphy Nichols right now, he is your provisional pole sitter with a time of a 2:08.67. And Sean Hayes in the number 94 machine, currently second fastest. He is just a little bit less than half a second back with Zach Burke in the number 13 machine. We just saw him in that great run in the Spec Racer Fords. He is currently sitting 3rd in the number 13 machine with Jamison Huffman, Morgan Burkhard, and Darian Taggart. And you can see there, once we get past Hayes, it is very tight here, with Burke 1300ths back, with Huffman 1/10 back. Burkhard only 42 thousandths of a second off of his teammate, the number 89 machine. Taggart only 1500ths back from there. Really close running. Looks like Bob Kucera did manage to come out for the Mazda MX-5s, and he is currently hitting 7th fastest here, as we've got just a half a minute remaining in qualifying.
Yeah, just half a minute remaining, 30 seconds, and it's a giant field here. 24 MX-5s are signed up, and 22 on the tower right now. A few of them exploring the track limits, and we're going to we're just seeing a bunch of cars parked up. You know, they didn't like their lap, so they're going to be stopping it right there. But you can just see some of these cars are really ripping it through the S's. This is Bob, who really wasn't doing that well in the SRF, but he's really got this place memorized down in the MX-5. And so, you know, some of these drivers are more favorable to the MX-5 than the SRF. We were talking to Burkhard, who jumps up there into 2nd place, was saying the mid-engine cars don't really gel well here. You know, they get very under stress in the braking zone. And, you know, the MX-5, very planted, very stable. Wanchi Lin jumps up into 9th place.
Yeah, and that was a last second. He had not put in a time yet in qualifying, was sitting at the tail end of the order, and Wanchi Lin moves up into the top 10. 9th fastest time in qualifying here, as our last couple drivers starting to make their way down here, setting their last flying laps. We're on board right now with Caleb Patry, who just turned in a 2:09 and change. That's going to be good for 8th here as the clock expires for him.
Yeah, we got some drivers still finishing on. Bob Kucera in 7th currently. He's nearing his line, and yep, jumps up into 5th place. Kyle Valios. And 13th is our next driver scheduled to come across the line. Then Brendan Huron, who just invalidated his lap, went off track. Then Zach Burke. Here comes Kyle. Comes across the line, improves to 10th place. And now over to Darian in 7th. Top guy right now coming through Hogpin. 75, looking absolutely nice right now. It's a long run up, sees the flag. He's
Let's
been
see if he can improve upon that 7th position here.
That opening sector comes across the line. It is an improvement, but it's not a positional improvement. Stays in 7th place.
Yeah, a matter of fact, yeah, that was his fastest lap, but not able to better Jamison Huffman's. He's going to start right beside Huffman in row number 3. Pardon me, in row number 4, he's going to start right a row back from Huffman, pardon me, as we're on board right now with Joaquin Effinger, and I believe Effinger's already turned in his...
they were coming out of the pits. They were
he's just turning an extra little lap here before we get things back underway.
It's track time. You just want to get all the practice you can. He got out of the pits. Caleb's out there right now, sitting in 8th place, but Caleb's been just exploring track limits in Waukee. I don't know what Waukee is doing. I was driving with him in the MX-5 earlier, and yeah, I was doing this.
Well, there you go. Trying to figure out which parts of the grass he can run through without.
I was giving him the Baja lines.
Without ending up in the Dan River. All right,
yeah,
here's
as long as
Caleb.
you keep the car dry, you're good.
All right, so is Caleb Patry now, and again, I believe he had already turned in his fast lap. There you go, exactly. So we should have the field here starting to grid up in just a moment, and we'll run down the starting grid here as our drivers start to make their way out on track. But in the meantime, let's talk very quickly about Alliance Autosport, our great partner this season. They are based in Columbus, Ohio, and have found success at the club and professional levels, garnering multiple championships, including 7 SCCA National Championships, 3 SCCA Pro Championships, and a USF 2000 National Class Championship as well. Their team members are dedicated, hardworking, and know what it takes to win. Not only are they the SCCA Enterprises Great Lakes Division customer service representative for Spec Racer Ford and Formula Enterprises 2, but the team services include arrive and drive packages for SRF Gen 3, FE2, and also for Trans Am 2, spanning customer car prep, trackside support, transportation, storage, part sales, data analysis, hospitality, as well as driver coaching development. To find out more about Alliance Autosport, check them out at allianceautosport.com. All right, and so we've got looks like waiting for 2 drivers to come up and fill out the grid. Austin, I'm going to hand it over to you to run down the starting order.
Yeah, Murphy Nichols will be starting up on pole, and he's joined by Morgan Burkhard, who's going to be trying to get out of that 2nd place that he got earlier and go up for gold, followed by Sean Hayes and Zach Burke in 4th place. Bob Casera in 5th, followed by Jamison Huffman in 6th place. Darian Tagar in 7th, followed by Caleb Patry, who's going to be down at 8th, going to try to make it 2 wins in a single day. And right behind him, starting to the right, is going to be Wanchi Lin in 9th place, joined by Kyle Valios in 10th. Brendan Huron in 11th, followed with Kyle Robinson right beside him in 12th. And they're followed by Greg Brockway and Andre Jamison in 14th. Jordy Fike and Charles Vaccaro makes up the row behind him, followed by Edgar Sancinelli and Greg Mack. Stevie Ray's back on track in 19th with Wayne A. Buttermore in 20th. The final 2 rows are Ryan Carter and John A. Casey, Joaquin Effinger in 23rd, and Joe Kabari in 24th. Did not set a lap time, and I do not think he's out there.
Yeah, I don't think he's out here, and that's Joe Camilleri, H Production. H Production driver from Volkswagen, Scirocco driver from north of the border from Canada. Just like he's had trouble getting into the States to run real-life races this year. Sounds like he got caught at the border tonight for the virtual race as well. So we've got the pace car leading the 2 teammates Murphy Nichols, our pole sitter, in the number 5 Smoketown Brewing car, and Morgan Burkhard in the number 40 All Sports Racing entry here as they come under the pedestrian bridge. Actually, I wouldn't call it a pedestrian bridge. That's the that's how you drive into the paddock there at VIR. You can walk across it, but you might get hit by a
You watch for traffic. Look both ways, and
That's
might have
right.
a flashing light on your head, especially if you're walking in at night during some endurance race. Looking at the grid right now, I'm noticing something what Zach's done with his cars. He's slapped on some gold rims on there.
Yeah,
I don't know how much those cost, Zach, but don't wreck that car.
That is hot. I mean, it worked for Nissan with the 280ZX
yes.
anniversary edition back in the day. That is sweet. Look at those gold rims.
Yeah, I know Murphy has those chrome red rims on his car. That really matches that paint scheme he's got going with that just red paint scheme. You know, candy red. You got that, but you know that accent that Zach's got with those gold rims. We need to see more colored rims on the grid.
All right, and there we go. Once again, it would not be a Ray Esports night if we didn't have Mr. Nichols blinking in and out there. You know, I'm convinced that Frederick, Maryland must have the worst internet connectivity ever. Not going to say who his provider is because that'll probably get me sued. But there you go, as they make their way now down towards the top of the roller coaster here, and it should be another great battle. And, you know, just like we saw, I mean, this is the neat thing about VIR, this back straight is so incredibly long that you could see how a trailing car could just get sucked right up to the vehicle ahead and really just slingshot ahead in making the run down to turn 14.
Indeed.
And the MX-5s, you should see very similar behavior to what we saw with the Spec Racer Fords, as they now are making their way down through the final corner through Hogpen, turn 17 here at VIR. The pace car has now pulled on the pit lane. Murphy Nichols has the field as they come down, and getting a little bit better gridded up.
They're waiting for the moment.
Wow, look at that. Yeah, if it were me, Darian Taggart
Here
there
comes
sitting
Zach
right
already.
in the middle of the field. And
Zach's
Taggart
already bump drafting with, I believe that's Burkhard he's trying to push it ahead.
Yes,
and
it is.
And Burkhard trying to swing it around the outside, but it's Nicholas up the inside. Look at that 94 of Hayes sneaking up in there right beside of Zach Burke. As the fight for third place is really heated up right now. As the fight for the lead is also heated as well. The fight throughout the entire field are still side by side at times. Everybody's still trying to find where they want to be as they're approaching the slowest corner on track. Look at Wan Chi Lin. He's setting up the inside of left hook.
And he's trying to come right underneath Brennan Horn over there in the 17 machine, as they are side by side coming through turn 5, going through Snake, right back behind Darian Taggart in that 75 machine. I was going to say, if there was a start dodge there, I think Taggart might be getting a drive-through penalty, as he made it 3 wide coming out of Hogpen there for the start there. But just back behind the 17 of Horn, got a great battle side by side with Kyle Robertson and Andre Jameson in the number 25, Robertson in the 23 is going wide. Wan Chi Lin coming out of South Bend. He's going to try and gather it back up. He's going to lose 2 positions as both Horn and Vallejos get around.
No, Robertson.
And Robertson going into Oak Tree takes the long way around. He's going to have to try and rejoin without having cars coming through that blind corner, piling into him. But he gets back underway as we jump back up now, hopefully, over to our leaders now as they're making the way over towards turn 14. It's Murphy Nichols, it's Morgan Burkhard, and now Zach Burke. Gosh, this looks like a replay of the last race as Burke is side by side with Murphy Nichols as they go into the top of the roller coaster, turn 14, start to make their way down the hill. Zach Burke, he takes over the point. He is your new leader with Murphy Nichols running in second, but Murphy Nichols now gets back around. And then we've got Morgan Burkhard sitting in third with Sean Hayes, Jamison Huffman sitting back fourth and fifth.
Oh, Caleb Petrie is involved in this one. The drive for 2 is unavailable. It's not going to be there today for Caleb. It's going to be a recovery drive, as it looks like in the roller coaster they got into each other. Caleb and Bob got into each other heading into roller coaster. See that? Oh, Bob went way deep onto the brakes. Caleb stuck onto the outside. still out there, and oh, did he just get no room out?
I don't think Kucera knew that. I don't think Kucera even knew that Patry was still sitting out there off of his quarter panels. He tried to open up that left-hand turn back over to turn 16. And look at this with the power slide coming through coming through NASCAR, and he gathers it back up. Zach Burke, he manages to hold on over Murphy Nichols with Burkhard sitting back in third, Sean Hayes and Jamison Huffman, but Drift King Zach Burke coming through NASCAR there, and that's what you get when you have those shiny gold wheels from the late 70s. It's kind of like, kind of the disco vibe there as he goes drifting across the dance floor as they now make their way up through the uphill S's, and it is Burke, Nichols, Burkhard, and we're on board right now with Jamison Huffman, who's sitting back in fifth. Right back behind the yellow and black number 94 of Sean Hayes as they go under braking into 14. Our top 5 cars all locked nose to tail, and you're going to see there Darian Taggart in 75 sitting 6th. He is not all that far behind. Things are still very, very tight here.
And yeah, Zach Burke leading this train. He might get a slingshot attempted by Nichols. He's on his bumper. He could get a run. Burkhardt's a little bit too far away. Here comes Nichols up onto the inside. We got 2 side-by-side fights as well, as that's the 94 of Hayes and Huffman to side-by-side. Speaking of side-by-side, Nichols around to the outside and into the lead ahead of Zach Burke, who's not going to throw some JDM action onto us heading into roller coaster, but we know he loves being in the lead. He loves being aggressive. Those golden wheels are not just for show. He is a very flashy driver.
All right, as they come out of Hog Pen now onto the front straight to complete lap number 2. Our top 3 drivers, they have separated themselves out just a little bit from Hayes, Huffman, and Taggart, but now going side by side, the 2 teammates. We've got Burke, actually, it's not the 2 teammates, it's Burkhard and Burke once again, and then just ahead, now Burke very late on the brakes. He's side by side with our leader, Murphy Nichols, and it is a diamond formation without the trailing car.
Almost 3 wide. Almost 3 wide right there. Zach was really looking on to the inside, heading into the King and then into NASCAR, but they all, clear their minds and stop being aggressive for a little bit because we just entered 5 minutes of this 20-minute race. We got 15 minutes left, everybody. Calm down.
Yeah, I was to say at some point I'll be able to breathe here, as it is now.
Who needs oxygen?
At least I'm not in Florida. There's oxygen to have. All right, so as they're making their way over now towards the uphill S's, and you can see here we have now pulled along Huffman and Hayes, and right behind them we've got Brennan Horn in the 17 machine with James. He's now in that battle as well. As we now take a look side by side up through the S's. This is a brave move as we've got Greg Mack with Kyle Robertson and Charles Vaccaro right behind him. It's not often you see that under race pace, but Greg Mack makes it work. And he's sitting back in 14th position after having picked up 4 positions. A little bit further back, we're taking a look now at Caleb Patry trying to make his way back up through the field. He's got Ryan Carter in that white number 22 just ahead. And if you take a look right behind them there, it looks like Wayne Buttermore. Aero issues might be the operative term there, as he no longer has a front bumper cap. As Murphy Nichols leads the field now down through the roller coaster. Zach Burke still in that number 13 machine, sitting in second. Morgan Burkhard, we'll see if he can get a good run coming out of Hog Pen. He is sitting in third, with Taggart now sitting up in 4th position. Taggart having made up 3 positions since the start of the race here as they come down the front straight. And now moving over drivers left, it is Zach Burke, but once again, Murphy Nichols in that number 5 machine. He's got the inside position going into turn 1, but let's see here now, under braking Zach Burke.
He's gonna try to force it around the inside here, and he does, but Burke's got such a great exit. And here's Burkhard pushing the bumper, but they're gonna be side by side through the kink, and those side by side heading into NASCAR. Place your bets who's gonna come out of this alive. Getting a little bit off track is Nichols, but Zach Burke up onto the inside, able to shake and bake it up into the lead, followed by Nichols and Burkhard. Taggart is right there with them as well, followed by Haynes and Huffman. And I think Harad is up there in 7th, and Wanji Lin is there as well. We got a 9-car pack really for the lead, for the race lead, and any one of these drivers can really win this.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you, as many Spec Miata races as I've called at the real VIR, this is what Spec Miata racing honestly looks like, where you've got trains of 10 or 11 cars, and look at that, coming through South Bend with the drift. It is the 13 of Zach Burke, Murphy Nichols, Morgan Burkhard right behind the slip angle that those cars have coming through South Bend. They stay on the
Nichols bad to exit. Burkhardt gets a good run onto the inside. He's got the draft to Zach Burkhardt looking up into second place now. After that bad exit by Nichols, and everyone saw that, so they're all diving down to the inside, and that is a easy move for Burkhardt. Very reactionary, and look at that yellow 94 of Sean Hayes.
Yeah, Sean Hayes. He's trying to get back around Jamison Huffman.
That's risky.
And Huffman popping over the curb there as he took a quick look to the inside, saw the 94 machine there, but now look at this side-by-side coming down the hill. It's Taggart and Murphy Nichols, and we may have to see exactly what happened there as Nichols now has dropped back in the 3rd position as Zach Burke, he is your new leader, Morgan Burkhardt with 2nd position, and they have opened up about a 4-car length advantage over Nichols and Taggart as they start to roll down the hill. As we jump a little bit further back as we're watching Kyle Robertson in that number 23 machine with Andre Jameson right ahead.
Taggart and Nichols have collided with each other. I think Nichols had a little bit, one of his blinks, and Taggart got inside of his car when he reappeared.
All right, Austin. So let's take a look at the replay here as they came out onto the front straight.
Side by side.
There you go. There's the blink as they come through the kink on the front straight.
Oh,
and Murphy Nichols, he just comes right over into the rear quarter of Taggart. They both go off into the grass, and they are going to drop back through the field now.
Okay,
our leader, though,
like
as we
Murphy
jump, if we jump up to the lead now, Morgan Burkhardt, he is your leader. Zach Burke running in 2nd. They have about a 4-car length advantage now over the 89 machine of Jamison Huffman. Huffman having worked his way up through the field. Well, I guess he's had the advantage of a couple cars ahead of him, sliding back off course. But Brennan Horn, look at this. Brennan Horn, who we saw on the start, was sitting all the way back in 11th position. He's now made his way up to 4th in that number 17 machine with Sean Hayes and Kyle Vallejos just behind. As we jump back now and take a look at Greg Mack with Kyle Robertson. This time Mack doesn't have to go too wide up through the S's as he manages to lead this field now down through South Bend. And a little bit behind, there's Caleb Patry, 2 cars back from Greg Mack, still trying to make his way back up to the lead pack. He's sitting in 14th currently, having started off in 8th position. As we jump back now up to the lead, and Zach Burke has gotten back around Morgan Burkhardt. So drop Burkhardt back into 2nd as they start their way down the roller coaster here, as we're on board with Morgan Burkhardt as they make that quick left-hand turn into turn 16, pop over the curb and head through Hog Pen. And they are locked nose to tail with about a 2.5-car length advantage. And Greg Brockway going off track as he went down the roller coaster.
Looks like he was hit behind. Might be crabbing just a tad bit. We're going to get a replay to you all right now. That's Greg Brockway right there in the 062. Watch behind us to get tagged right there.
Yeah, looks like the 23 machine did get into him. The 23, that was Kyle Robertson, who managed to keep a hold of the car, and he's currently sitting up in 10th. As we jump back over now, back to our leaders as they come through NASCAR, come through turn 3 and into left hook, and you see that little tap of the brakes from our leader, from Zach Burke, as he leads Morgan Burkhardt through, and we are over halfway. We have just a little bit more than 8 minutes remaining here in this 20-minute sprint, and you know, it hasn't really changed. Well, the order has changed. The names remain the same. It's not looking all that different here on lap number 6 compared to lap number 1, as Zach Burke leads the field up through the S's with Huffman and now Brennan Horan sitting right back behind. And I'll tell you, Horan.
Whoa, Burkhard, no, too hard on the throttle and into the wall. Burkhard into the corner of the tires. That is Burkhardt's race, and Robertson's off as well.
Whoa, and as he goes sliding down the hill. But Burkhard there, just too much throttle coming through South Bend, got the drift, dropped a wheel, came back across the track, and as you mentioned now, his race is now done. That moves Jamison Huffman up into second position. Zach Burke still our leader, and sitting in third now, Brennan Horan in the number 17 machine. He is your third place runner at the moment. There's Brennan in the GB Consulting Esport Racer machine as they make their way down the hill. That also moves Sean Hayes back up in the fourth position, and they've separated out just a little bit. We've got Wan Chi Lin trying to recover from that early spin. He is now back up into fifth position in that orange and white number 30. And we'll see if both he and Hayes can work together and maybe close things back down on our lead pack of three as we've got Burke, Huffman, and Horn.
Going to make this easy. That fight for the lead definitely going to be slowing them down as Huffman took a little bit look on Burke as they all bunch up right here. Wan Chi Lin's going to try to overtake Hayes. After watching Wan Chi last week and the race before, he just loves racing. Yes. And he's going to try to make it as much spots already. He's setting himself up for NASCAR. Looking up to the inside, probably last minute, but heading to left hook. Santinelli's had an incident.
Oh, as I said, the more things change. And
I think he's went a little bit wide.
Yeah, there's the 257 entry. He gathers things back up. As we jump back a little bit here, we're looking right now at Stevie Ray with Robertson, and I'm still trying to figure out how Robertson is sitting in 12th position after he had that Mr. Toad's Wild Ride coming out of South Bend a lap before. But he's
behind him.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well there. As we jump back to the three cars run wide coming out of South Bend. Horan, and then we've got Sean Hayes who decides, if Horan can go through the grass all the way down the hill, I can do it too. He manages to gather it up, and Wan Chi Lin, he is using everything but the pavement right now as he holds back in fifth position. As oddly enough though, Zach Burke, Jamison Huffman, Brennan Horan, they can't separate out at all. As we now take a look a little bit further back, and this is Jordy Fike. This is the battle for seventh right now. We've got Fike with Andre Jamison in the white and green number 25, and then Caleb Patry. He's now worked his way back up. I think the last time we checked on him, he was in 14th position.
Huron and Hayes, they made contact, and that's a big hit in the front bumper by Hayes onto the back of Huron. And oh no,
back and in the door. Let's take a look at the replay here as they're coming down the roller coaster.
This is before when they're running down the South Bend. And I really want to see this again because everybody just seemed like they were just turning into It just looked like there was who let the grease pig run across South Bend? Seriously, that part of the track is so slick right now.
All right, well, let's see if we can go up a little bit more. And here we go. This is what I want to see. Is they're coming up to the top of the roller coaster, up to 14. You can see Hayes.
Got to the grass.
Yep, and Hayes took into the grass going into 14, came across the track right into the door of the number 17 machine. You can see there Brennan Horn, he took to the pits to get some repairs. He is now back out on track. But he is now all the way back down into 14th position as we jump back over to the lead where we've got Zach Burke, Jamison Huffman, and Wan Chi Lin now sitting up in third position after we had the Horn and Hayes incident. And sitting a little bit further back and forth, Kyle Vallejos in the number 53 machine. I didn't expect to see Kyle all the way up here, but Vallejos has made up 6 positions now since the start of the race. Admittedly, a lot of it attrition here right ahead of him, but he is just now one step off the podium as our leaders come through South Bend as we now have only about 3.5 minutes remaining here in this 20-minute race. It is still Zach Burke with Jamison Huffman now taking the place of his 2 teammates of Murphy Nichols and Morgan Burkhardt. He is running in second with Wan Chi Lin running in third. All nose to tails. They come out of Oak Tree and make their way down the back straight. Is this where Huffman is going to make a move to the inside? Now, the last couple of laps we've been watching as Burke gets very defensive going into turn 1. And so here, as we see here, Huffman now moving to the inside. I think he's got enough overlap at this point.
Burke's playing defensive.
Yes, he is.
Early onto the brakes, letting Huffman... I think Burke is already setting himself up. He's seeing on how much of a draft that you can get to get yourself into the lead. he's already doing some setting. We saw this at Road America with the V's actually last round, and a last lap move that got them the win.
That's right. It's much easier to be in second going into the last lap than in the lead here as we look a little bit further back in the field here as we've got Greg Brockway, who's really already had one big off. And he's there with Stevie Ray, and looks like Stevie Ray is going to hold on as they come down here through the S's, although, maybe not as Stevie Ray popped that curb. All right, let's jump back over to our leaders now. Once again here as they come out of 2 and go into 3, and it is still Burke with Huffman and Wan Lin all nose to tail as they go into the left hook right now. And look at this, as looks like well, I guess that's Burke with a slight
dance. Just different line, different dance. Everyone's taking a little bit different. Speaking of different, Wan Lin is just wild on the gearbox of
he is.
Jameson Huffman, but Zach Burke back into the lead. I feel like he was trying something through hog pin just to see, am I going to get the spot before the line? I don't think so. It's going to be half the maid on that back straight. We're under 2 minutes to go right now. I feel like we got another lap we should have, right now. We do got another lap.
We should have one more lap. Now, here's the interesting thing is, again, notice that we've got Zach Burke back in the lead. I don't think it was necessarily his plan to retake the lead going down into turn 1, but that's where he ended up.
I think
we're going to have to see if it were me, I might let Huffman take the position here once again going in the 14.
I think Huffman
not necessarily defend it.
I think Huffman knows. He's going to still try to put it onto the inside now as Zach Burke. Side by side they go. They're checking up extremely early. Here comes Wan Lin almost getting into the back of Burke. Huffman into the lead with less than a minute to go as they head down into Roller Coaster and into Hogpin. And oh man, Caster Best, Huffman, Burke, Lin, who is going to walk home a MX5 race winner today. The white flag is in the air here at VIR for the Ray Esports Racing Series presented by Alliance. And it is white flag this time, side by side for the lead, heading into turn 1. Wan Lin sitting back there, not going to make that 3 wide. Burke sending it into the corner, Burke into the lead. We were talking that doesn't seem like the right move, but Zach Burke trusts his driving. He wasn't being this defensive when Huffman made his move, and that's Greg Mack off again. And Roller Coaster, not the race that he wanted to see. And Wan Lin's overcooked in a NASCAR. Lin's off in NASCAR, and that is going to bring him out of the fight for the lead, but he's got Vallejos right behind him, still going to be fighting for that podium spot. Now it's a 2-car race, Burke and Huffman.
So here's the thing that I'm looking at here as Burke once again in the lead, and he retook the lead over at turn 1. The one thing I'm thinking about here, Austin, is if I were Jameson Huffman, the last time that they came up into the top of the roller coaster, I might not have tried to make that pass. I might have sat back for another lap and tried to make it. Since we know Huffman has done it twice already, there's no reason to think that he couldn't do it for a third time. But at this point, he is set up. He is in position. He is back in second place here, and as they make the run out of Oak Tree, making their way up Madison Avenue for the very last time, you take a look at this, and what is different is that Jameson Huffman, much further back than Zach Burke as they came out of Oak Tree, did not get a great run. It looks like he is going to be able to pull up now alongside as they come into 14. The question is he going to have the overlap, though? And I don't know if he does as they come into 14.
They make contact, collision for the lead!
And here they come now as they come down. They separate themselves out. We've got the number 13, Zach Burke. He's got the position. He's got the lead for the moment over the number 89 of Huffman. Huffman's going to try to sneak underneath him going into hog pen. Can't get it done. And now as they roll down the hill, Huffman now as far back as he's been almost this entire race. He is a 2-car lengths back and taking the win in our second race of the evening. It's Zach Burke in the number 13 machine. Jameson Huffman, he's going to finish second. Kyle Vallejos makes his way all the way up to third, picks up 7 positions here tonight. Then we've got Caleb Patry makes his way up. Look at this. Caleb Patry works his way from 14th after that early off all the way up into 4th. Andre Jameson, he's going to finish 5th. Jordy Fike is going to finish 6th. Charles Vaccaro will finish 7th. Edgar Sancinelli crosses the stripe, and well, he'll be crossing the stripe. There it is. He will finish 8th. Stevie Ray will finish 9th, and right alongside him, Greg Brockway. Great run there between Ray and Brockway after Brockway's early spin. Brockway will finish in 10th. Brennan Horan, after that horrible incident, he's going to finish in 11th. All right, so let's take a look here at as they came through, and we had as they rolled down the hill.
He finished without a wheel.
Yes.
I saw him just absolutely miss that. Yeah, there it goes. It looks like he was already losing his spot. And oh, that's how it popped off.
Yep.
He took a bad jump and well, hit the wall. And yep, you can see that front left is dragging a little bit. The front right dragging as well. And well,
yeah, that's
Lynn's not going to be finishing this race. And Casey, I believe, yep, there's Casey, is going to be finishing in 19th.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's how you go from hero to zero on the very last lap. All right, so let's go now. Looks like we've got a few of our drivers here in the green room. What I'm going to do real quick here, Austin, is I am going to bring in Caleb Patry. Didn't finish on the podium, but he worked his way all the way back up to 4th.
Caleb, not the race that you were looking for after the SRF race earlier today. You had a off track early, but you managed to bring your way all the way back up into 4th place. Let's talk about that. Caleb? All right, well, Caleb's having a little bit of radio problems, so we're going to
All right, so let's go now. If we can't get a hold of Caleb, let's bring in Jameson Huffman, finishing 2nd tonight in the Mazda MX-5s.
Jameson, P2 today. It was a very rough and tumble battle on the last lap. You had a great run. Heading into roller coaster, you made some contact with Zach. Let's talk about that final lap and how tense was that race?
I was just trying to just get that pass done. I was a little hot-headed from the first race, but I kind of cooled off near the end. I just kind of wanted that position. We were just having an unlucky day for the entire team at that point. Murphy had both of his races screwed up. Morgan just grabbed some grass. Wasn't a good day for us.
Well, for you, it seemed very good at the end. Unfortunately, none of your teammates had the good day. You were in that fight for the lead for a lot of the day, and so were your teammates. Have you ever been in a 9-car pack for the lead for that long here?
Not for that long. There's been some instances where we've had a big field like that, but I just kind of did what I usually do and just sat behind, let everyone fight it out, ruin their tires, and then just push at the end. Seemed to work.
Well, it seemed like playing it safe really worked out for you. You finished up on the podium. Are you going to be carrying on that strategy for the rest of the season?
Depends on every race. Depends on pace. Depends on how everyone else seems to be doing. Just changes every time.
All right. Well, thank you, Jameson. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Parents for letting me race this late. I know it's a school night, so I had to get to bed like right after this. Teammates, they helped me with the line in the Miata. I had no clue, like 3 laps of practice going into that. No clue what I was doing there. Major's Garage, their setups are pretty nice. And you guys for commentating, and Stevie and Greg for setting this up.
All right. They're all proud of you. Now, I think the next logical thing for you to do is take a little breather and then head to bed. You got school tomorrow.
And obviously, no response there. He just disappears. That was Jameson Huffman, driver of the number 89 machine, finished 2nd. All right. So speaking of getting to bed early, it looked like Caleb Patry had nodded off, but I've woken him back up. Let's bring Caleb back into the commentary box. Again, worked his way back up, finishing just off the podium in 4th position after that early incident. Great run for Caleb. Austin, over to you.
Caleb, very bad The start of this race, not the best. End of this race, hey, pretty good. You jumped up spots for where you qualified, and hey, you finished in 4th. You almost got a podium out of that, but man, that was some recovery drive. You were dodging your way up through the field.
Yeah, I mean, the car was working pretty well. Unfortunately, it got tangled up in a little incident there at the start, but it's nothing major. I don't really drive this car a whole lot, and I really only got like 2 laps in qualifying, so I didn't expect to be up front. But yeah, after that, it was just kind of put my head down and run down as many people as I can, and managed to pass quite a few people, and then I guess I moved up some spots from misfortunes ahead of me, so pretty lucky to finish 4th, I'd say.
It really seemed like a lucky finish for you, but you were making some moves in that recovery drive. Have you done? You just know this track and you know how to drive the car. It's just an unfortunate incident, but hey, you got to make the best of the worst things possible. And it would have been really cool to see you try to take 2 wins in a row on the same day. But hey, finish P2 after a very rough start, and not P2, yeah, P4.
I wish it was P2.
I wish it was P2 too. I'd be going insane right now.
For sure.
But before I let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Well, I guess same people as my first interview. It's Steve Ray for putting all this together each and every week, and Alliance Autosport for their support as well.
All right. Congrats again on a good race and the first race as well. You have yourself a good night, Caleb.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Caleb Patrick for the second time in the commentary booth with us here tonight. Driver of the number 198 machine, finishing 4th tonight after a great run. And, you know, it's funny, Austin, as you were interviewing him, Dennis had the replay of he and the number 45 machine, Kusera, getting together up at the top of the roller coaster. I'm sure Patrick will be able to look at that later. All right, so as we wrap things up here, I want to thank again everybody for joining us here tonight from the virtual Virginia International Raceway. And next Tuesday night, we are going to be heading out to the Lone Star State to the Circuit of the Americas. Our Mazda MX-5s will lead off the competition next week, with the Formula Vs making their return after a week off. We definitely want you to join us then. And again, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and give us a thumbs up here and subscribe to that Apex Racing TV YouTube channel. It certainly helps us out and will help us bring you more great racing action. So for Austin Knight, I'm Greg Ginsburg, and of course for Dennis Branch, bring us all those great camera views back in the production truck. We'll see you next week.